right, folks, so let's get started. My name is Molly Saunders, and I'm the Client Services Coordinator here at the Women's Resource Center. I'm going to share my screen and briefly introduce the Women's Resource Center and a few of the services we offer before I turn it over to our speaker, Desh. So this program is our monthly series of webinars called Career Connections, where we talk about different training programs, topics related to career training, and also have hiring organizations in the area come in and speak about opportunities. Like I said, I'm the WRC Client Services Coordinator, and our main speaker today, Desh Bagley, is the Associate Dean at Hillsborough College and the CEO of AI Education Group. And I will let her tell you more about herself when she begins, but she's the former executive director of the State College of Florida Advanced Technology Center, which houses the SCF Coding Academy, which is an amazing resource that I know we will talk more about. So the Women's Resource Center has been empowering women in Manatee and Sarasota counties since 1979. We have 3 locations in Bradenton, Sarasota, and Venice. And we see over 9,000 clients per year and offer over 7,000 hours of programming each year. So our services are all offered at low or no cost, and they include things like resource advising, where you can call and be referred out to various community resources that might meet your needs. Things like mental health counseling, educational workshops and programs, scholarships, which, by the way, our scholarship application closes on Friday. So last minute to get in those scholarship applications. We have legal and financial counseling services, and what you're probably most interested in since you're here today, career programs and services. So we offer one-on-one career coaching at no fee, including resume writing coaches, computer tutoring, job search, and interview practice skills. So all the different tools that can help you feel more confident as you start your career journey or continue in your career journey. And we also have career closets at all 3 of our locations where you can come in for free and pick out a wardrobe that will make you feel confident and ready. And then we have workshops like this one that happen on a regular basis for more specific topics. So after this, you can go see the recording on our YouTube channel, and there's a playlist of all of our past Career Connections sessions. So that's a great resource if you want to dive into some of our other offerings. So all that being said, we are about to start. I'm going to hand it over to Desh to give our beginner's guide to breaking into tech.
Thank you very much, Molly. I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me. I am excited to be back with my people. I consider this to be my core community. I worked at State College of Florida from January of 2021 until June of 2025. And I had a great relationship, still have a great relationship with the Women's Resource Center. So I am so thankful to be with you today. We are going to be using the Q&A box for questions that you might have. So feel free to type in any questions in the Q&A box. And every once in a while, I might ask you a question. So feel free to put your answers in the Q&A box. We'll use that as our engagement tool. Today's workshop will be no jargon. It is intended to be for beginners who are looking to get into tech. My goal is to keep it practical and keep it easy to follow. And at the same time, you're all going to get a copy of this presentation. Molly will send it out so that you can use it to continue your dive into IT. So to start off, in the Q&A box, I want you to let me know if you are, 1, brand new to tech careers. So you can put that in the Q&A. Number 1, you're brand new. 2, you've tried learning before, but you sort of got stuck. Or 3, you're already in tech and you're looking for a better direction. So that's what we're hoping you'll put in the Q&A. And then Molly, I want you to tell me what our percentages are of the people who are answering. 1, you're brand new. 2, you've tried learning before. 3, you're in it, but you're looking for a different direction. And my name is Desh. And by the end of today, you'll have a short list of roles that fit your lifestyle and perhaps fit what you're hoping to do, what you're hoping to achieve. We're also going to give you a clear first 30 days plan, a way to think about choosing some training that might be affordable to you, and ways to think about finding training on the internet that's valuable and not really like a scam or anything like that. We want you to have tools that make sense, right? That make sense for you.
Right, Dash, the vast majority of people are number one, new to tech. But we do have a couple of people who have tried it casually and want to make a career out of it. And one person who is a digital navigator and wants to find out how to help their clients.
Yes, yes, perfect. A lot of times people are thinking that they can't get into tech because they don't know enough or they're not skilled enough or they don't know math. We're going to talk about those myths in a second. So I'm so glad that there's a digital navigator on board to really be able to advocate for those people that want to go into IT, information technology. And then I'll be honest with you guys, I tried the traditional way of pursuing a degree to have a career in information technology. I was a computer science major at the University of Texas, the big UT, back in the day. And the classrooms were big and the professors they were nice, but they were talking fast and they were talking a lot. And I didn't always get it. I didn't always capture what was being said in the classroom. And although I did fine in high school, I did fine, honor roll student, right? Honor graduate from high school. When I got to college, it was just something about the environment. It was something about the amount of information being thrown at us that I just didn't do as well initially as I thought I needed to. And I almost thought of changing my major. I almost thought of giving up. But right at that moment, you know how things happen in life? Right at that moment, I decided to get married and we moved to Tampa. We left Texas and we came to Florida. And my husband was like, well, you got to finish your degree, right? You're going to finish that degree. And I was like, yeah, I guess. But I was pregnant. I had a kid coming. So I had a kid coming. I hadn't finished the degree and I didn't quite know what I was going to do. Well, you guys, long story short, I want to say 10 years after I started the degree, I finished the degree with 3 kids in tow, right? So it was not a linear path for me, nor do I think it's a linear path for anyone. In technology, tech careers reward persistence way more than perfection. So I want you to remember that. You don't necessarily just have to be a programmer to work in tech. You don't just have to be one of the geniuses to work in tech. What I want you to think about during this presentation is what are my likes? What are my dislikes? What are my skills? And as I describe the various pathways to get into technology careers, I want you to see which of those pathways are most interesting to you. So that's what we're going to do there. So let's first bust a couple of myths. First myth, I got to have a computer science degree. That's not always true. I have a computer science degree, yes, but even with my computer science degree, after I got it, I worked at Amazon for 4 years. I worked in Amazon as a virtual assistant. You guys know what I mean. Call service. When you call customer service and you get somebody on the phone, one of the people that you would have gotten on the phone was me at 1 or 2 in the morning. You would have been talking to Desh, helping solve your problems. And then I became a manager and then I did some other things. But I was at Amazon when right before State College of Florida called me and said, come interview for a job. I was at Amazon. So you don't necessarily have to have a computer science degree. At the Coding Academy, and I'm going to brag on State College of Florida a lot, you guys, the Coding Academy is my baby. I was hired to start it and get it off the ground. And we have helped dozens and dozens of people gain the skills they need to get the careers they want. And so I'm hoping at some point, Hamali, you'll have Terry from the Coding Academy on the webinar to talk about the programs that exist. And I'm hoping that some of our audience members will also check that out. Now, y'all know I'm at Hillsborough College. I'm a dean at Hillsborough College. So if you're in the Tampa area and you need a resource, then please come check me out. But if you're Sarasota Manatee, then I definitely think there are some resources locally. You don't necessarily have to have a computer science degree. There are some roles that accept certificates. There are some apprenticeships where you can break into tech. I'll talk a little bit about roots engineering. If you have not heard of roots engineering for apprenticeships for robotics and automation, please write that down. They are an excellent educational resource. I'm too old to start. Nope, you're not too old. In fact, there are several skills where experience beats out non-experience from an age perspective lots of times. I have to be good at math. Not necessarily. Far more needs are related to problem solving than to calculus, right? So you don't necessarily have to be a math genius. And tech is only for geniuses. Tech is not just for geniuses. I'm sure some of you are, but most tech jobs are teamwork and communication and tickets and projects and people skills, being able to communicate the idea of solving a problem for a customer without making it seem like wizardry and without putting them down in the process as you're trying to help solve their tech problem. So which of those myths have you guys heard? And have you heard any other myths that you would like for us to bust today? Put those in the Q&A, drop it there, and we'll address those. Tech is about skills and practice and problem solving. Employers typically want to see more proof than they want to see credentials. They want to know that you can do the job, not simply that you have a piece of paper saying that you can do the job. So let's talk about some big ideas, right? The idea is that first you have to think about what role you want in the tech sector. It's not the other way around. You don't go get some training or go get a degree and then try to figure out what you want to do. The goal is to figure out what is it that I love doing and then find a role that fits that. So the first one I want to talk about is the help desk technician. Number one role, that's the role I had when I started during college. I worked in a crawl space for the Texas State Library when I was at the University of Texas. And my job was to pull cable, because we were getting all of the local area networks set up. We were getting people connected to the internet, and there was not Wi-Fi back in those days. So everybody had to have a hard wire connection. So I was pulling Ethernet cable from one side of the building to the other side of the building. From there, I started working for the city of Austin, and it was called a systems support specialist. When you guys are looking this up on Indeed.com or Employ Florida, you're going to look up help desk technician. It's the person who knows how to fix the computer, the person who knows how to get you back on the internet, the person who fixes the printer when the printer's not working, when you forget your password, or when you forget how to log in, when you think something's happening with your mouse or your keyboard or anything, your help desk technician is the person that comes to the rescue. That's one of the best beginner careers for someone trying to break into tech, especially if you're a hardware type person. You like taking things apart, you like putting things back together again. You like figuring out how does a particular gadget work. That would be a help desk technician. And lots of companies in our community hire help desk technicians. It's an entry-level role. And the certification that you would be thinking about would be the CompTIA A+ certification. You can get that class through State College of Florida, or CareerSource might have some resources of where you can find educational organizations offering the A+ certification, but that would be one of the first things you would look for. The Women's Resource Center, as you heard already, offers scholarships. So if that's a class you're interested in and you don't have the funds to pay for the class, then by all means, check out the Women's Resource Center, check out CareerSource. And even State College of Florida has tons of resources for scholarships. And they offer classes like every 8 weeks or so. The next pathway is the web software developer. It's the one for people who enjoy the look and feel of a website, who enjoy thinking about an app that can make things better for all of us. You'll see that that average salary there is $93,000. That does not come without a lot of hard work and effort. There's more of an investment time to become a web developer, but there's a strong upside. A lot of those fundamental skills can be self-taught. There are websites online, Codecademy, Coursera, Google, LinkedIn Learning. So many online resources that can help you gain the skills needed to become a web developer. But it's not just about having those skills. It's also about having a portfolio to showcase your skills. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So web developer, people that like to create the content that you see online right now. I would be remiss in telling you that a lot of these jobs are heavily AI focused. And I probably would be remiss in telling you that even my presentation today was put together with the help of AI. I used a tool called Notebook LM. It's a Google tool, Notebook LM. And so for those of you that are thinking about web development, that's where you would also want to know, how can I use AI as a tool as I'm becoming a web developer? The third one is the QA software tester. The QA software tester, it's like the professional job for, I found a problem. I found a problem. That's not working, and that's not working, and that's broken. Somebody needs to fix that. That's a real job. People get paid to find the problems as developers, as the web developers are putting things together. Then the quality assurance, that's what QA stands for. Quality assurance software testers, they come alongside and they say, here's some things that we see that could be improved upon that aren't working. When you're searching Indeed.com or Employ Florida, you're going to look for QA testing, quality assurance testing, software testing. Some people wonder if these jobs are remote. Is it a good idea to try to go into IT to become, to have a remote job? And I will say that for your entry-level roles, not so much. The entry-level roles, you're going to be on site because they need you on site. They want to mentor you. They want to train you. They want to introduce you to the culture of the company. But after that, after your entry-level roles, there may be opportunities to work from home. Now, me, I'm still in IT. I don't get to work from home. Typically, most days, today is a vacation day for me from work, but most days I am in the office 100% of the time, making sure that I'm there for our clients who are our students. And because our students are there, I'm there. I got 2 more pathways to show you. The fourth pathway is probably the one that's the hottest right now. Like, it's a hot ticket. It's cybersecurity. It's the protector. It's those people who value safety and defense. And when there's a problem, they are level-headed. They are calm. They are cool. They do not stress under pressure. They're about systems and processes and going through the steps in order to mitigate a problem. Cybersecurity isn't like the movie Hacking that you see with the hoodies and the dark room. It's not that. It's more of monitoring networks and documenting what you see and making sure that you're doing the basics very, very well. Because if you cover the basics, then that makes sure that those people that intend to do us harm are not able to get in. Cybersecurity people are curious. They're consistent. They like policies. They enjoy reading and they enjoy writing, because a lot of cybersecurity is reading, writing, researching. What do you need for cybersecurity? Do you need a 4-year degree? Some companies will say yes. Other companies will say if you have the CompTIA Security Plus certification, then you're in good shape. They will accept the CompTIA Security Plus. Now, I mentioned earlier about the A plus certificate. CompTIA has 3 paths. And if it were me trying to get into technology today, And thinking about cybersecurity in particular, I would look at A plus, Network plus, and Security plus. Those three industry certifications. When you're doing your research, you're looking for an organization that offers those three for you to take and earn, and preferably someplace that will help you pay for it because they're not cheap. Again, I think of CareerSource. CareerSource has a listing of educational organizations that they provide scholarships for if you go to those particular locations, right? And then State College of Florida, they have a grant called the Open Door Grant. And if you qualify, then State College of Florida through the Coding Academy can help you earn those industry certifications. And again, the Women's Resource Center. If you have a value case and you're able to put in your application and tell your story about why you want it and how it will benefit you, your family, your community, then the Women's Resource Center also offers scholarships. And I'm sure there are more in our community because our community is great, but those are the top three that I think of when I'm trying to help people gain the skills they need for the jobs they want. It says average salary $120,000. I would say for a beginner, you're closer to $75,000, $80,000. And then as you get more and more experience, your salary goes up from there. And cybersecurity specialists are also asked to have background checks. So being able to get your FBI and your clearances from the federal government is going to be a big thing. And the more you can have those things in place, the more money you make. Is cybersecurity a work from home job? A lot of times it is. It's almost hybrid. 3 days on in the office, 2 days at home. 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. 2 days in the office, 3 days at home. So if you're thinking remote jobs, that's probably the one that's a little bit more geared toward remote work. Is it difficult to get into? There's a lot of studying involved. Those industry certifications are not easy, but they are attainable. Remember, I said persistence is rewarded, not perfection. And the final pathway that I'd like to share is data and analytics and AI. It's for the I like patterns people. I like to see the trends in data. I like for data to tell a story. I like being able to gather information and look at that information and share it with others in a way that makes sense and impacts the bottom line. You are a person who enjoys spreadsheets. You understand what SQL is. It's a query language. It's like programming, but it's more of a asking questions from a data source. You like dashboards. You're the person that says, you got that? Let me put that together in a poster on a spreadsheet for you. I got it. Again, curiosity, organization, storytelling with numbers. Data is like being a detective, except typically the person that did something wrong was the person that had a typo in their data. Like there's really not a problem. We're all good. It was just a typo. Somebody switched two numbers around. That's all that happened. So those are your data analysts. They're the people that like data, and AI falls into that as well. When you're looking, don't hesitate to look for AI jobs, AI tester. I was an AI beta tester for a good long time. There's this company called Outlier. Outlier, Outlier. And they're often looking for beta testers for various AI tools. So those are the five pathways. And again, the salaries right now, they seem a little elevated. I think this data came before AI sort of blew up. When AI blew up, you guys, you have to know that a lot of the jobs are now being performed using artificial intelligence. So as you're looking for jobs, you want to make sure you're also building your AI skills. And you can do that again, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, Codecademy, and of course, our local colleges. So how does it work? How does it happen? How do we actually break into tech? I will tell you that it starts with a mindset. It starts with putting out of your mind, I can't do this. This isn't for me. And into your mind, this is what I want, and I'm going to go after it. Remember, I said 10 years from when I started my my bachelor's degree, probably even a little bit longer than that. It's probably more like 12 years. It took time. One class, two classes, a child, three classes, four classes, a child, right? Y'all know, most of you have heard me speak before, so y'all know I have 5 adult kids. So life has been really busy, really fun, but really busy. And so now that I am associate dean at Hillsborough College, I like to tell that testimony that I wanted it. I went after it. I didn't stop. I kept learning and growing and learning new skills. And eventually, God blessed me and put me exactly where He wanted me to be. So that could be your story, right? A willingness to learn, great communication skills, meaning that you're going to share your desires with your family members, with your friends, with people who are in your corner, people who have your back. You're going to use some discernment. There are some people that are going to be haters out there, right? We don't share our goals and dreams with haters, but there are going to be people who are on your side. The Women's Resource Center, the digital navigators that are a part of the Patterson Foundation. There are people there who want to help. And so you're going to communicate exactly what you're trying to do with them. You're going to build your problem solving skills because most of technology is simply problem solving. And then from there, you're going to build your literacy levels. You're going to learn the terminology. You're going to learn the vernacular. You're going to want to be a part of our digital community. And in order to be a part of the digital community, what sets techies apart from non-techies are the techies know how to Google what they don't understand. And the non-techies are like, I'm too afraid. I don't understand it. And because I don't understand it, I'm not worthy. See, that's typically how non-techies think. If I don't understand it 100%, apparently it's not for me. Whereas those of us who are techie are like, I don't understand that. Let me look that up. Let me Google that. Let me look at some AI. Let me see what's going on, right? We are constantly learning what's going on because the jargon changes so much, y'all. Technology changes from day to day to day. I was just telling Molly, I was giving a presentation last Friday, and on Thursday, the version of software that I was using changed on me. It was like it changes so quickly. So, building your digital confidence, understanding the systems that you're going to be working in, and then starting the very top layer is starting to gain your toolkit. If you want to be a programmer, you're going to look at Python. If you're interested in data analytics, you're looking at SQL. If you're interested in developing a web app or a website, you're going to look at Figma for UX, UI, making sure that the user interface, user experience, so UX, user experience, how do people feel when they're using your app? UI, user interface. What about the accessibility issues? Can somebody using a phone, can they use my device? Can they use my app and my website as if they were on a laptop? So UX, UI, and that's Figma. Adobe Suite. I'm interested in making digital artwork, Desh. I'm the one that does the animations. I'm the one that does the graphics. Are you familiar with your Adobe Suite? So that's your tool set. Your tools, but your mindset has to come first because I got to tell you, it's not always going to be easy. What type of learner are you? Are you hands-on? Do you like an apprenticeship? Do you want self-study? Do yourselves a favor and look up Roots Engineering. Roots Engineering has an approved apprenticeship for robotics and automation through the state of Florida. Governor DeSantis just signed off on it. So Roots Engineering is there to help you if you're interested in robots and mechanics and all of that type of tech. Are you looking for flexible online courses? Google has some, IBM has some, Microsoft has some. Or are you the type of person that says, nope, I want an instructor, I want to be in the classroom, I want a college program. So look up the boot camps. Look up the college programs for your AS degree or your BS degree, depending on what you want to do. And especially when we talk about, and I talk fast, every time I do one of these webinars in the comments, I always get high scores, but in the comments, they're like, she just talks so fast. So I'm gonna try to slow down. Computer science teachers are needed right now in our community and all throughout the state of Florida. When you think about breaking into the tech sector, do not sleep on getting a degree in education focused on computer science, or if you already have a degree, going into an EPI program that allows you to take just a few extra classes so that you can teach for the state. You can get your license and teach for the state. You don't have to get a second degree if you already have one. Because when you're a computer science teacher, you sort of get to learn as your students are learning, right? You teach one concept and your students are ready for the next concept. So you learn that and then you teach that and then you learn the next one, you teach that. I have a half a dozen friends who have gone into computer science because there was a need, number one, and because they were able to take some summer classes, learn the basics, and then teach alongside, as they went on. And a lot of your jobs will be like that in technology, you guys. Nobody walks into a tech job knowing absolutely everything. You have on the job training 99% of the time. Rarely does anyone walk into any job, right, feeling like they know 100% of the job. So the culture of the company is to teach you what you need to know. I have a good friend. He's at Four Winds IT, Don Borden. And Don said, Desh, I just want to hire people who are curious. They're curious and they problem solve. They don't throw up their hands and say, I don't know, I don't know what the problem is. They continue digging. And when they've dug as much as they could, they go to a coworker and say, here's what I've done. I've done X, Y, and Z. What did I miss? And then a coworker comes alongside and fills in the gap. That's the type of culture that you're going to want to work for. And Four Winds IT does hire entry-level people. So this is your pathway to learning. You're going to figure out what role you want, and then you're going to figure out how you're going to get your skills. Proof beats paper. As you are learning, your goal is to put together work samples. You made a small little website. You don't think it's very impressive, but guess what? I think it's impressive because you are a newbie. You don't know hardly anything. And look at you. You made a website. There's a header. There's an image. There's a form that I can fill out on your page. Congratulations. Add that to your portfolio. Brag about that. Explain why you did it the way you did it and what tools you used. Talk about it to friends and family members. Talk about how you solved a problem and why you solved that particular problem. So there might be case studies that you'll put together. If you're a designer, there may be portfolios you're going to put together. If you're a programmer, you're going to use something called GitHub. So you're going to Google that. If you don't know what it is, Google it. If you don't know how to use it, ask AI to help you figure out how to use GitHub. That's what I had to do. I had to ask AI, help me figure out how to use this GitHub repository everybody's talking about. And so it taught me. I learned. And now I have my own projects listed online. It's really cool. And then small projects. What practice labs are you doing? If you're working with LinkedIn Learning, capture that and say, here's a problem set that I had to do on LinkedIn Learning. Here's a problem set that I had to do on Coursera or Google. Here are my Google certificates that I've earned. And a lot of times Google allows that self-paced learning at no cost. Here are my Google certificates that I've learned. And here's my portfolio of Google work that I've done. You're going to show what you can do if you're making data sets. If you are a cybersecurity person and now you started working with your own network inside your own home. I'm afraid to say it, but you know that speaker. We can say her name. I'm going to call her Emily for short. Maybe you're working with your own network and you've connected Emily to some lamps, to your ceiling fan, to your thermostat, and you're able to see the data that's going across your own local network in your own home. If you do not know what I'm talking about, this is a great entry-level place to start for cybersecurity, understanding what your own home network looks like, and then being able to share that with somebody. Here's what I know right now. What's my next step? What should I learn next? If you try working with that home network and you're like, I do not like this, then cybersecurity is not for you, right? So that's a clear indication that you're going to want to try something else. try a lot of things, just like we did with our kids when they were younger. We put them in sports and dance and ice skating and fill in the blank. For my kids, I put them in a lot of STEM. We started Tech Play Zone back in 2005, so my kids were always involved with STEM, but I made them try out everything because once they knew what they didn't like, we could focus on what they did like. Once we knew what they weren't proficient at, we could focus with what they were proficient at. It's the same thing for your tech career. How are you going to gain that experience, right? I started talking about that a little bit, but again, you can volunteer. You won't get paid, but you can offer to help. If the Women's Resource Center is looking for somebody to help put together some data sets or a dashboard or go through some processes that need to be a little bit more organized, try volunteering. You can freelance. You can talk to a friend maybe who owns a small business. They don't have a website, but they would like a website. And as you're learning, you're putting together a website for them. Something is better than nothing. They don't have one now. So whatever you put together is going to be better than what they have. That would be you freelancing. And then internships. You're never too old to have an internship. And so when you see internships posted, if it fits your schedule, if it's something that you can do, apply for those internships. So you can start here with volunteering for any organization that you know. And even if they can't use your work, you add that to your portfolio. It's your experience that you're able to talk about when you're in a job interview. Job interviews are like, can you do the job within a deadline, communicate with people, and not be a problem on the team? Let's just be honest, right? We're a small group. We have a small team. We want people who fit in and get along with everybody, right? The other half of the job is communication. Are you able to explain what you did and why you did it without making it sound like wizardry, without using the jargon that so many people hate? I took the IP address from the DNS and I worked with the microprocessor to amp up the speed of the GPUs and the blah, blah, right? No, nobody wants that. We want to know that we're hiring people who can do the job, learn to do the job, ask great questions and be curious, constant learning, and fit in with the company culture. That's what folks are looking for. The one thing I learned at the State College of Florida with the Coding Academy is that networking is probably 60% of how our students got jobs. We help them get the skills, but that extra push that they themselves did when we introduced them to community partners, the extra push of saying, can I have a cup of coffee with you? Do you mind if I shadow one of your employees who's doing something that I like to do? Would you mind if we connected on LinkedIn and then you share with me someone that might be able to help me in my situation? That idea of attending meetup groups or virtual events, engaging with people who are doing the roles that you already want to do, and then optimizing your LinkedIn profile so that when people go looking for you, they know what you're working on. 60% of getting a job in tech. Relationships open doors. I can't stress that enough. I ended up at State College of Florida because of a great relationship. Once I got there, I still had to do the job and prove myself, but the door opened because someone knew of me and my abilities. I got to Hillsborough College because someone passed along a job description to me. They said, hey, Hillsborough College is hiring. You may want to take a look at this job posting. And I looked at it. It looked good. It was an upward step of where I wanted to be, associate dean, working on the academic side. I was able to interview and get the job. Networking is important. So you're going to build your circle of people and you're going to let them know what you're trying to do so that they can help you polish your resume and polish your LinkedIn profile and put you in the rooms where you need to be. So now let's talk about our 30, 60, 90-day starter plan. The first 30 days, you're going to pick a path and you're going to start learning. 1 or 2 roles from today's list. Even when you're going to get this presentation, if you're not quite sure of what I talked about, feed what I'm sharing with you into AI. Choose whichever tool you like, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whichever one you like, and say, here's the presentation that I heard. Here's the role that I'm interested in. Tell me more about that role and some learning resources in my community. That's the prompt that you're going to put into ChatGPT. And you guys know what I mean when I say upload this. You're going to get this document as a PDF, and you're going to upload the PDF into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you use. And then you're going to start typing into the input box and asking questions, having a conversation with your AI tool in order to develop your starter plan. Here are the 2 roles I'm interested in. What are some learning opportunities in my community and online? From there, month 2, month 3, you're going to start building some projects, building your skills. You shouldn't have to pay any money. It should be completely free if you're using the tools online or researching State College of Florida and applying for scholarships. Many of you will qualify. And so just try it. Sign up for a class. Start learning on your own. Research roots engineering. Find out what Jeff has going on over there. And then days 61 through 90, start applying for roles. Get some resume feedback. You're like, apply for roles? We don't even know what we're doing yet. Yeah, you don't. You don't know what you're doing yet, but you're going to find out more about what they're looking for when you don't get the role. I'm not saying you're going to get a role right away. You probably will not, but you are going to get into the habit of knowing the types of roles that are good for you and good for your skill set. You are not applying for everything. You're putting in the keyword search into, and I've said it, I'm going to say it for the 3rd time, Indeed.com or Employ Florida. Those are the 2 sites I recommend. Personal preference, nothing to do with HC, nothing to do with Women's Resource Center or State College of Florida. I just like Indeed.com and Employ Florida. You're going to start looking for the jobs that fit the skills that you're developing. And if the job requires more skills than what you're developing, then you're going to develop those skills too. If it requires an industry certification, you're going to go after that industry certification too. You're going to do what it takes to get the role. Expectations versus reality. There is a deep trench. I've seen it time and time again from all of my students. We start on and it happened to me too. We start on the upward climb. We're excited. Things are going well. And then all of a sudden the struggle happens. It's hard. I don't understand. It seems like other people are getting it and I'm not getting it. And what's going on? Oh my gosh, I'm going to quit. And then, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. What starts to happen is those few people who want it enough, push hard enough, not necessarily the smartest people, not necessarily the genius people, but the people that want it enough push through. They push through. And before you know it, we're on the upper end of that spectrum. Consistency beats talent. Consistency beats talent. And I can tell you that because I've seen it. The smartest, brightest people, they reach that trench, it goes low, they get depressed, they get sad. I understand. I've been there. I have been there. And they don't come out. The difference is we have to come out of it, recognizing that it's not that I'm not worthy. It's not that I can't do it. It's just that I haven't learned it yet. But I will learn it and I will get it. Growth accelerates after that first break. Something clicks, y'all. Something is going to click for cybersecurity, data analytics, AI, coding, graphic design. Something will click. And I promise you, you'll have that upward swing. And you don't have to do it alone. Number one, you want to look the part, and that's what the Women's Resource Center is for if you need it. Number two, you got to get the skills. So if you need a scholarship, if you need some external funding, please reach out to all of the resources I've mentioned. You're going to need some mental support. You're going to need people in your corner who, when you say, no, I can't, I got to study. No, I can't go to the concert. No, I can't babysit your kids. No, I can't visit this weekend. No, I can't put in extra time at work. I'd love to put in extra time at work, but you know what? I can't this time. You got to have that mental support. And then you got to do whatever it takes to get the job. Career coaching, employment services, job search tools, have people look over your resume, be in the networking groups, even if you feel like you don't belong in the room. Do you guys know how many times I felt like I didn't belong in a room? A lot of times I feel like I don't belong in a room. And guess what I do? I put on my big smile. I walk into the shoulders back, right? Walk into the room with my braids. And I'm just like, hi, I'm Desh. I'm Desh. And I don't walk into a room saying, this is what I know, this is what I can do. No, 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 no. I walk into a room saying, who are you? How are you? What do you work on? What projects are you working on? Oh, that sounds really interesting. How did you choose that project? What are some of the barriers you encountered along the way? Oh, how did you solve that particular problem? And I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm taking it all in. And eventually they ask, so what do you do, Desh? And I say, well, here's what I'm working on. Here's what I'm trying to learn. Here's a problem I've encountered. And I'm really looking for someone who can help me do fill in the blank. I'm looking for someone who can help me XYZ. And that person, and I'll be honest with you, because I've listened to them and I'm engaged with what they're saying and I'm thoughtful about what they're telling me. They say, Desh, I think I have somebody that can help you. Oh, I think I know someone that might be able to, you know what? Let me get with so-and-so and see if they can help. It's a process. Yes, you got to have the skills and the talent, but you also have to have that networking ability like nobody understands, and you got to feel like you belong in the room, even if you don't necessarily know if you do. So here's your checklist. You're going to choose one tech path. Is it design? Is it data? Is it support? I think a lot of people start off in support with that A+ certification. That's where I started. One learning resource this week. Connect with the Women's Resource Center if you need coaching or clothing. The information for the Women's Resource Center is right here on the slide. They are here to help. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have right now. You can pop them into the Q&A and Molly will read them out for me and I'll answer them. I want you to know that your future career can start now. There's nothing stopping you. It's not about being born technical. It's about becoming skilled. You can take one step this week to becoming more skilled. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Desh. That was a lot of information and a lot of potential, like practical things that people can start on, and we really appreciate that. So there is already a question from Elena. She says, thank you for the information. And what are your perspectives on these jobs with AI taking over some roles?
Right. Based on what I've been able to do with AI, I will say that a lot of companies may try to use AI as a tool to do the tech jobs that many of us have been doing for years. Companies are going to use AI as a tool. We are not at the point yet where AI can do every job. We're not there yet. So we want to still encourage everybody that's interested to go into a tech field, but please go into a tech field understanding how AI can be helpful to you in your role. I'm going to take Adobe, for example, Adobe Illustrator. There are many of us who know how to use Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Editor, PDF Editor. But because Adobe has integrated AI into so many of their tools, if we don't become familiar with those AI use cases within Adobe, then we won't qualify for that job. No matter how skilled we are at doing Adobe, I call it the old school way, we just won't qualify. they're going to use AI in a way to do those roles. So we want to be skilled at it. We're not at the point now where AI is taking away a lot of jobs, y'all, but AI will take away some jobs. But let's also hope that new jobs are created. And let's keep our ears and eyes open for new jobs that are created.
And then Alana followed up, is Roots Engineering a local company? Is it the one in Venice?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes, Roots Engineering is local. It is the one in Venice. And what has happened is they have apprenticeship programs to help people better understand robotics and how robotics is being used in manufacturing. And the manufacturers are saying we need more workers, we need more employers. And Roots Engineering is saying we're here to help fill the education gap so that so that the manufacturers can hire people. So that's why I highly recommend Roots.
So Jenny says that was a great presentation. Thank you. And thank you for the reminder to push through and choose to be ourselves and be confident. That mindset aspect.
Mindset. Yes, exactly. I don't think we should have to change who we are to have a career that we love. And the wonderful thing about it, I don't know if you guys remember that very first slide, but it's like it was a ice, yes, iceberg. So there are all of these different roles within tech, data and cybersecurity, design and UX. UX stands for user experience, product and project management. If you've been a supervisor or a product manager or a project manager before, those skills are transferable. You can use those skills inside a technical role. Digital marketing. A lot of people are concerned about what AI will do for digital marketing, but my friends at Agento, they've told me, Chris has said, Desh, we're not letting AI take over jobs. We want our employees to understand how to use AI, but we are a humanistic company. So most companies are still like that. They are not just letting the computer do computer things. They are still expecting to have experts behind the machine overseeing everything. Tech sales is a huge one. As more apps become available, somebody has to be able to sell those applications to companies, to educational institutions, to nonprofits. Someone has to be able to go into sales with a nice communication style that doesn't seem like a salesperson, but seems more like a partner to say, here's how our tool might be able to help solve your company's problems. So tech sales is a big one. And then IT support, because things always break. And if things are always breaking, we either have to fix it or buy a new one. Many companies would prefer to fix it. So just always be thinking about, and it's not just fixing computers anymore. It's also just fixing networks and understanding how to keep your robots up and going. You guys know one of my favorite restaurants is the Oyster Bar. It's right off of, I want to say that's 41, but there's a robot. It just comes around, right, and does all the serving of the food. You can get your food right off the robot. Robots are going to be more commonplace than we think. So as you're starting to do your research and you're learning, start thinking, learn about robots, see where they are, see where they're coming.
So Pamela says, thank you for the information. She's obtaining her master's degree in creative writing right now. Are there AI positions that she might be qualified for? And she says, by the way, I'm 73 and I know my age can be an issue, which I think that the not,
yes,
that's kind of the point is that it could be at any age, but I'll let you talk, Desh.
Yes, Amalia, I agree. It can be at any age. You're pursuing that master's. What was the master's in?
Creative writing, she said.
Creative writing, yeah. The one company that comes to mind right off the bat it's called Outlier. And I think I'm saying that right, Outlier. And they hire people to help better write prompts. So you guys, have you heard the term prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is where you're communicating with an AI tool in such a way that it gives you more refined answers. The AI tools are trying to become better at just being regular natural language tools so that we don't have to type it a certain way. But as far as writing goes, that's one thing that our AI companies are saying that they're looking for: people who understand language and the nuance of language, and how artificial intelligence is just not there yet. Artificial intelligence doesn't necessarily understand analogies, the idea of, remember in school, and you probably, the person pursuing their master's degree understands that, how we analyze this movie to this movie and this character to that character, and what were their differences and what were their similarities. AI is there from a very logical point of view, but not from a nuanced jargon kind of view. The way that we speak with you pulled my leg, or we used to say when we were cooking good food, you stuck your foot in it, right? If you tell AI you stuck your foot in it, it's not going to understand that means you threw down on some grub. It's different. So I want to say yes to that. Check out the company called Outlier and see if there are jobs for creative writers. Writing in general, though, we're going to have to help our kids. I'm going to go on that soapbox for just a second, Molly. Just the fact that our kids are going to be tempted to use AI to write things for them. And we're always going to want to make sure that our students are putting their own voices into whatever the artificial intelligence shoots out. Like I told you guys, this presentation was made through Notebook LM, but it was my thought process. It was me saying, I want to talk to an audience on a very practical level about breaking into tech. I need help with my slides. So I took my notes, I put them into Notebook LM, and Notebook LM gave me the slides. And I had to change a few things on here to make it really, like, there was not a slide for cybersecurity and data analytics. So I added that slide, which you guys, when you're looking at it, you're going to be like, that slide looks different. It wasn't part of the original presentation. For our kids, we want to make sure they add their own voices to whatever AI is saying. Our students have to remain the experts. The machine can't be the expert.
So Melanie writes, if there are any jobs they can start at home using AI to generate income, and then also if they could have your contact information if they're in Tampa.
Yes. Molly, will you share my contact information when you send the information?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm more than welcome to send that out. And are there any jobs that start at home? That would be Indeed.com and Employ Florida. There are filters where you can click remote only, and it will only show you the jobs that are remote. And you would see those on Indeed.com. If you become a freelancer, if you decide that you're going to be your own boss and you're going to offer your services to customers and clients anywhere in the world, that's a remote job. If you decide to become a consultant and you're going to help other people get their processes better in place, understand how AI, look, that's me, CEO of the AI Education Group. As CEO of the AI Education Group, my role is to help companies figure out how to use AI in a productive manner. Save money, save time, keep humans at the forefront of it, use AI as a tool. That's what I do. That could be a work from home job. So what did I do? I started researching. I got into AI back in 2020. When I first heard about it on NPR, I was listening to the radio and somebody mentioned something about an AI chatbot. And I said, what's that? And I went home and started Googling it. And lo and behold, this thing called OpenAI was coming about. So I applied to be a beta tester. I'd like to be a beta tester for OpenAI, and I got accepted to be a beta tester. So back in 2021, I was a beta tester, and then it all sort of came out in 2022, open to the public. There's this thing called ChatGPT. Well, I had already been using ChatGPT for at least 8 months. So I was ahead of the curve with that one. And I continue to keep learning. And I could be a consultant. I really could do it full time, but I like my job.
Yeah, and I think if we have something to sum all of this up, it's about being curious and keep learning and trying to do research and find out more about the opportunities available. Um, well, we're up on time. I want to thank Desh so much for being here today and answering questions. Like we mentioned before, I'll send out this presentation as well as a link to the recording on YouTube. So you're welcome to share it. As more people who can see it, the better. And as soon as I close out of the webinar, there will be a brief survey that you're redirected to. We would love to get your feedback both for Desh and for the Women's Resource Center about this presentation and topics you might be interested in the future. So, all that to say, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Desh, for being here.